Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. Engaged once again, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to Operation Status Quo. Right here with me, your user-friendly host, Pete Palma, and I'm very happy to be with you here today on a Monday. Well, it seems like it almost seems like it's later in the week because it took me so long to get here to this point today. It's like I'm like, oh yeah, it is only Monday. But hello and welcome to Operation Status Quo, where we observe the status quo, we learn to flow with the quo, and then we create our own flow of quo because that's the only way to go. You know, you got to find out what works for you in your life. You know, again, this channel is just a space where we come together, we express ideas, we talk about ideas, we observe what's going on in the world. We don't get crazy about it. We don't attach to things. We don't get mad. We don't want to fight. You know, we just want to figure out, you know, what's the best way to move forward so everyone can live a happy, positive life overall. I mean, you know, not for anything. We are in the human condition, so nothing is going to be ultimately perfect and happy and all the time and all that type of stuff, you know, but we can do a lot better. I would say, let's give you a round of applause because we definitely can do a lot better than what the hell's going on out there right now. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey-o. So today is Monday, the 8th of May in the good year 2023, and we're going to be talking today, the episode entitled today, Fed Not Now, because in case you're aware, or maybe you're not aware, Fed Now, if you have not heard of it, is a program, basically a digital-based currency that's coming out from the central banks, from the Fed, really, that's supposed to go into effect on the 1st of July. From what I understand, because as I always say, I'm not an expert on anything. I'm more of a feeling person. I observe a lot. I regurgitate some information to you. I would like for you to regurgitate some information back to me. You know, maybe you know some stuff about some of this stuff if you're a big finance whiz or one of those type of things. But basically, you know, it's pushing us in a direction to where they're going to have more control over us. You know, I mean, just, basically the concept is, we go to a digital-based currency, through the Fed, where, basically you don't have any cash. Everything is done through transactions online and such. So, again, to me, in my mind, it's just a step. And you see, and this is, I know, here we go, because I start going off, my brain starts going in 6 directions when I want to talk about something. But basically, you see what's going on with the economy now, and it's very uncertain. The bank's collapsing. There's a lot of stuff going on around the world where other countries are working to get themselves off the U.S. dollar. They don't want to be involved with it anymore, going back to gold and gold standards in different countries and such. So, this is a way, obviously our system is, for those, let me just take it back a step. For anyone who really doesn't understand or know or anything, our country, used to be on a gold standard. I believe it was in the 40s, right, when we went on the gold standard, 44, I think it was like right after World War II, somewhere around that time. And then I think it was 1971 where they took us, off the gold standard, and basically, the currency just kind of stood on its own. The only reason our currency has held up as long as it has, or still even holds up at all, is just because of the perception that it's worth something, because essentially it's worth nothing. There's nothing backing the dollar. It's just fiat paper nonsense money that doesn't really exist, essentially, except for what people may believe that it exists, So, with the funny thing about the precious metals, I mean, you go back to stuff like gold and silver. I mean, these are items that have been utilized as money for how long? I mean, basically for all of time. There's always been a value to, especially gold, as far as currency, and silver. Actually, silver more. People used silver a lot for, transactions, more on a day-to-day level, whereas gold is something more that is held to retain wealth. And anyway, that's a whole nother, story. But long story short, the money's basically not worth anything anyway, and the system, they can no longer, sustain it. I mean, that's what's going on now even, and this is what's so great about, anyone who's a regular viewer of this program, how we're always talking about everything in the world is basically changing and collapsing, and I talk about it all the time that it's a good thing. Like if you think about our world, and we're basically slaves, to the system. And it might be painful in certain regards for certain things to collapse and start over, because we're so used to the way of what we do. And humans, most of us, I mean, not for anything, people are kind of like lazy, and they don't want to be challenged in any way. They don't want to have to start something new, even if it's better. It's like, oh, I know that would be better for me, but I don't want to start something new. Matter of fact, I'll give you a good example. I got a new pair of glasses, and I'm wearing them today. This is my first day wearing these new glasses, right? And these lenses are actually like bigger. My old lenses were thinner, right? And I've had them, those thinner kind of ones, for a long time. And when I went and picked these out, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't want those. They're too big on my face, and it's the same type of thing, right? You're just so programmed and used to, conditioned, you get used to something and you don't want to change it. But now that I put these on, I really like them. I go, oh, these look a lot better than the other ones did, I think, personally, So it's like, there you go. You got to sometimes you got to just do it, You just got to go with the flow and take the pain and have the change. When it's time to change, you got to rearrange. Yes, sir. There we go. That was a little, we took a quick trip to Ukraine. Let's see what's going on in Ukraine. Oh, there we go. Oh, yep. Yep. Yeah, it's still going on. So anyway, back to Fed not now, because we don't want this nonsense. Again, it comes, and there's a lot of other implications with this too. And I believe they've already rolled some of this kind of stuff out in China. For people who don't understand, also, China has always been like a testing ground. Basically, they're always the first country to get effed. The people, that is, to see how much they can tolerate before they start to expand it around the world. I mean, those people were wearing masks, all the time, right before the pandemic, well, the quote unquote pandemic even started, right? So I'm just saying, like, for them to wear, we're going to wear a mask. I mean, it was no big. We wear masks all the time. We've been masked up for 10 years over here. They got us scared to death of everything. So, and they already have this type of thing in China where they can control your money. And, just imagine a world where, you don't have anything. You don't have any physical money in your hand. It's all based on, a computer system, your program. And then they can start to, decide. And this is how it is, because if you think about it, everything is like levels of control. Like, to me, aside from religion, money is the like number one way to control the masses. Maybe more so than religion. I don't know. Combine the two of them, and so. And that's what you get with what they're doing, in a sense of, like, crashing the system to put it, and then they'll come to us, right? To come to people, make it like they're saving them. Oh, we got this new, Fed now. You just, we take your money and put it in your digital account and do. And then all of a sudden you go on Facebook or somewhere and, you don't have a really good social credit score because you said that you don't like transgenders, or, women or men shouldn't play sports. And I don't even want to say you don't like transgenders, right? Because I wouldn't say that. Somebody just makes an opinion that, I don't know, should biological men, although they quote unquote call themselves women, play sports with actual women? You might say something like that because it's something you feel, or you just want to have a conversation about it. It's like, no, we got a problem. Here we go. Sound the alarms. It looks like Joe over there down the street has an opinion for himself. Shut down his account. Where's my applause? Where's my damn applause? Shut down his account. He can't go shopping today. Sorry. You're not allowed to have food now for 2 weeks because you expressed an opinion. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that. It's still going. Let me check out my notes so I don't get too discombobulated here, because I did have somewhat of an order. Again, the Fed now is supposed to start on July 1st. So this isn't something that necessarily is like, forced on people, but it'll be incentivized, right? With businesses, they'll kind of drag it in that way first. If you invest all your business runs through Fed now, then we don't, you won't, maybe they'll give you a discount, or you don't get charged for something. And, and little by little, it builds up where, more and more businesses, companies are involved. It makes it harder and harder for the day-to-day person to, do transactions without being involved. So, and that's how they do it. It's like that little by little. I mean, if you think about it, even started, I remember when I first started, my one job back in 2008, right? And it was, you had to fill in for, getting paid your, to, what do you call it? paycheck, whatever, where they just put it in your account. I can't believe I can't think of the term. It's so simple, but anyway, it's slipping my mind. When you direct deposit. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Lloyd, for bringing it to my brain. Direct deposit. And at that time, I really didn't want it. I'm like, well, I don't want direct deposit. I want my check in my hand. I want to go to the bank. I want to cash the check. I want to take out the cash in my hand that I need, for the week until I get my next check. And I was still writing checks. Like I would sit once a month and write all my checks out for my bills and put them in the envelope and send them in the mail. And I remember my coworker teased me and said to me, "Oh, you still write checks for all your bills?" I said, "Yeah." And she went, "Oh, that's so cute." It's like, okay. And then, eventually I did. Well, I had to get direct deposit. I had no choice because that's the only way you can get paid with the job. So I did the direct deposit. And then I finally got myself to the point of paying my bills online. And is it easier? Yeah. And do I like it? Yeah. I mean, it takes me 2 seconds. Click, click, click. And all my bills are paid and I don't have to worry about it. But, it's nice and it's convenient. But at the same time, they're holding, all your money. And, what if they decide to turn it off, because, I know it all sounds like, everybody just wants to say conspiracy. But I mean, if you've been alive for the past couple of years, I mean, I don't have to spell it out for you, do I? So on top of this, with the Fed now thing that's supposed to kind of come into effect July 1st, right? On top of it, we have the debt ceiling crisis. Well, I don't want to say crisis, but whatever, going on. That's June 1st. They're supposed to, make, either increase the debt ceiling or the government's going to default. And let me tell you, as somebody who, worked for the federal government, I don't give a. I hope they do. I hope they don't do it. I hope the whole thing shuts down. I really, really do. I don't even care. Like, I really don't care. Even if I didn't get paid, like, I don't care. It's like, it's such a corrupt bullshit system. I just can't wait for, the whole thing to, to collapse finally, because, they've been propping it up for years. I mean, from the stuff I follow, and I never even paid attention back during this time, but like 2011, like through 2008, 11, 12, during those times, the system's been basically dead since then, and it's just been propped up. And you see what they do. They just keep increasing the debt ceiling. And this is the thing that gets me about our bills and how we're treated, if we have some sort of debt, because the government itself is allowed to decide that it's going to be trillions of dollars in debt and to continue raising the debt ceiling with no intention of ever really paying it off, right? So, so I'm saying, imagine you did that. Imagine you bought your house and you just kept saying, nah, ultimately I'm just not paying it. They'll come take your house from you. They'll come take your car, but the government, it's okay. They can just keep increasing, keep printing fake money, keep raising prices on everything, and they just squeeze the shit out of people, and they're hoarding everything. And this is one of the reasons I feel, and again, these are new aspects for myself in my life that I've gotten into over the past couple of years, with the precious metals. I never even thought about it. They talk about, silver hit that high of, $50 back in, almost $50 back in 2011. And before that, it was, I think, in the 80s that it did go to $50, And the last time it went to the almost 50, and it was 2011 when the government did, briefly, shut down, or I don't know if they did shut down, I remember because I was working back then and I got furlough. I had to do like a furlough, and I had to not work like one day a pay period or something like that, like for a certain amount of time. That's how they were saving some money. It's like the craziest. Anyway, but if you think about it, and if you do research, you will see that these big banks like JP Morgan and such, are buying like tons of precious metals, gold, silver, and stuff like that, right? So why is the price suppressed? First of all, especially something like silver, which is a depleting resource, which is used in like basically everything between your phones, the computers, the TVs, solar panels, everything, the electric cars, it's all used, for that stuff. So you would think the value would go up, right? And, and if you're out there, if you haven't been on, in the game, as it were, of purchasing precious metals, then you might not be aware. But I'm saying everything you buy, if you buy something and they're showing on, on the COMEX or whatever that, it's trading at, just say 25.50. What's it today? 25.80, something like that. So let's say 25.80 they show is the price of silver. But if you're not going to spend 25.80, if you go buy an ounce of silver, you're going to pay a premium. Even if you buy a larger amount, you're still going to pay about $4 or $5 it is right now of premiums on top. So that 25.80 is really going to cost you 30.80, maybe 31, dollars an ounce. So, it's just very interesting to me, because the premiums don't come down, which basically is saying, it's kind of a hot commodity. People are buying it, right? But they won't show like the public how how worthwhile it really is, and because they want to be able to buy as much as they can under everybody's noses. That's why they keep the price down so low. Oh, it's not worth anything. It never goes up in price. In the meantime, they can just suck it all up basically. So it's really interesting times. The way the things are changing. Let me continue on about and everything they do with the money system. It's just like a way of herding us like cattle. We're basically cattle, herding us like cattle into the corner, just like what they did, I'm just saying it's what they've been doing the whole time. So step by step, they make it hard. First of all, they destroy the system, leave people in a lurch, leave people upset, leave people not sure how they're going to survive or what they're going to do or what. And then here comes Fed now. We're here for you. We'll save you. We'll save you. And so anyway, I know people get, because there's another side to this too, with the Bitcoin and stuff like that too, the cryptocurrencies. And, right now, what are they worth? Are they going to be worth anything? And this is the bottom line. This is the bottom line. I do believe that we have at some point are going to go to a digital currency. I mean, because it's just practical. It's really the only, as our technology is moving along and the way our world is, it just makes sense. But they have this stuff too with the blockchain technology that it's only you that can access your account. The transactions are transparent. So it really and this goes with the cryptocurrencies too. It's like, how is this all going to shake out? And one of the ways I think could shake out is that, I don't know if you're aware or not, if you see what's been going on in some of the states, Texas is I guess the main one right now that is in the process of passing legislation that's going to bring the state itself back to the gold standard, basically valuing money on gold. And I don't know about how much, gold and silver together. If you're saying gold, it's gold and silver, together. So, when people get nervous about, well, how's that going to work and do. And, and that's why I just think nothing's ever going to be perfect, no matter what is, even the system we're in, if it was done by honest people, right, that didn't have the intentions of really manipulating you and keeping you in fear and keeping you a slave, a socioeconomic slave, if that was really the case, then even the system we have now could work, right? I mean, essentially anything could work because it's all about just, transparency. It's about, integrity, and it's about faith in the system. So if, but unfortunately, the system that is in place now has none of those. There's no integrity. There's at this point the faith is weaning for sure. Waning, I guess I should say. But anyway, that's basically what's going on. But Texas is trying to put this in, and other states are working on legislation for the same thing. That they don't want this Fed now and these different type of things. And just a very interesting dynamic time. And I'm bringing this up today because it's one of the main issues that's going on in our world. I don't think people really pay attention to it. I know, people work, they put money in their 401ks. And, if you're just the average, person out there, you just work and just put a certain percentage away and you're just waiting to, cash in on that down the line. You don't even know. It's not, first of all, number one, it's money that doesn't even exist, right? Number two, they don't even have your money. I think they only have to hold 10% of whatever you, I don't even know, that might even not even be true now. It was, I think, and it might be down to 0%. I don't even think the bank legally has to hold it. If you go put $100 in the bank, they go lend it out somewhere else 10 times worth, and they might not even have your money in the bank, So if you wanted to go try and get it, which doesn't even really matter because who knows what the currency is going to be worth anyway. So it's just a kind of a crazy system. And what was the other point I was just saying with that? Because I was talking about Texas and the other states, and I guess I was basically with the Texas. Oh, and so to take it to just one other part, what I like to say about everything that's going on in the world today. I'm gonna put it like this: if I have a 401k or whatever, I haven't pulled everything out of it, but you know what? I took a penalty and pulled a chunk out of it, invested into other things, because I do believe that. I do believe that it's going to be worth it. I only keep a chunk in there because in case I'm totally wrong. It's like, you don't ever want to put all your eggs in one basket type thing. I also kind of believe that, there are powers that be that, want to help humanity. And even though this transition has to occur and it may be painful in certain regards, I don't think ultimately the forces that be that are trying to prevail in a positive way want to see everyone just like, be destitute on the street. So is that money going to be there or not going to be there? It may not. You might lose it all, and then there might be something that comes out to get everybody started again. I really can't say. But I will say this, and I think this is the most important takeaway of all this. For everything that's going on in this world right now, and for everything you do in your life, no matter what it is that you have to be in control of it. And you like with the money and the metals and the things like that. It's basically if let's say, and I've said this before on other shows, if you don't hold it, you don't own. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. I always want to mess it up. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And that doesn't just mean, money. Here's what I'm saying. It's everything. It's like, what food do you have? What power source do you have? What water reserves do you have? Not that like a calamity is like you're gonna have to like live like zombies, for the rest of your life. It's just like, like a zombie world, like trying to fight off the zombies. But it's if you don't, what do you have to be prepared for whatever's going on? And I'll say this for myself, and I've learned this. The biggest thing I've learned through all this, and however it plays, zero I'm putting in to their 401k plan because I don't trust it. I don't trust it, and I don't want them to have it. I'd rather have the money in my hands, and then what? You can do whatever you want. You can invest it in land. You can invest it in some other real estate, buying a rental property or buying another house. You can invest it in, not for anything. If you're into that type of, invested in farm animals or something where, you own cattle or you own chickens that are producing something that, is a continuous revenue stream. I mean, the point is now it's like I said, the money's not real. Everybody just throws their money in there. Oh, just throw their money in there. And they're taking it. They're taking it, using it, and screwing you over. So, at this point in time, I think it's important for people to really kind of open their eyes, realize what's going on, see the bigger picture, see how they're trying. It's been one effort at total domination over the world population since this whole COVID nonsense started, right? It started with, shutting everybody down, locking them in their house, and then, then forcing them to wear masks, and then trying to force everybody to get jabbed up. You're going to lose your job. You can't go to school, or you can't go to a store, or you need a passport to get over here, or go into a concert, or, blah, 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 and just keeps coming and keeps coming. Then, what? So that kind of faded a little, but now this whole money thing's been bubbling up the whole time. And quite honestly, I feel like, the whole COVID nonsense really is a cover for this financial reset that's happening anyway. And that's really the big, because it's always about money, right? When it comes down to it, everything's always about money. So, they know whatever's going on up, with the powers that be, the good guys, the bad guys, whoever, and, whoever's trying to collapse the system or keep the system alive or get people hooked on this or hooked on that or confused over here and confused over there. At the end of the day, it's really up to you to educate yourself, look at what's going on in the world and figure out what steps you can use best to move forward and mitigate the circumstance. Because that's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. We observe the status quo. We flow. We're flowing now in this crazy world, but then we create our own flow of quo. Don't you know? Hey-o. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. I just want to bring it to attention. I'm sure a lot of people out there know a lot of this stuff, with the Fed now and what's coming on. But I mean, I wouldn't trust our government for anything. If there's another company that comes out and wants to do the cryptos or some sort of digital, I'm not against the digital, currency. On the positive side of it, they talk about, and this is a whole nother thing that I heard, that something with the blockchain, the technology, it actually is entwined somehow, with your DNA, that no one could use the account but you. And I don't know. I'm saying it's so beyond, we don't even know all the technologies they have and the things that they're doing and what's going on, and this, and this thing with the money, and we're getting to a point here. June's going to be here before you know it. I'm not saying gloom and doom. What do they probably do? They'll probably fight it out. I mean, they always raise the ceiling, and keep things going. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not going to last much longer. Raise it, don't raise it, whatever. I mean, it can't be. It's not sustainable. So, there's big changes on the way. And aside from that, even if they did raise the debt ceiling and everybody thinks everything's okay, the dollar is not strong, and I'm telling you, like these other countries, the BRICS nations, if you're familiar, you look into it, and there's more and more nations joining. They're all looking to get off the dollar, so what's when the time comes and it's over and nobody uses it anymore, and then what happens here? We got a bunch of paper shit that's not worth shit, and then you're spending $10,000 for a gallon of milk or something like that, so I mean, that's kind of where we're headed. So now's the time to not panic, not be afraid, but to educate yourself and to look at, well, what is wealth? What is prosperity? How can I sustain to care for myself, to care for my family? How do we move forward in these type of circumstances? And just shut off the outside world, do what's right for you. I say, get in things in your hands, that you have that are, commodities, whatever's a commodity, something that's useful, something that, lasts, an actual thing, because the dollars are not things, and they could easily, and I've said this before in other shows, you could save your whole freaking life and be the good little steward of that money, and you put it in the account and do, and then comes your day to retire, and next thing you know, the market crashes 40% or some kind of crazy shit, and you're out all this money. I mean, they could take it from you just like that. So to me, in my mind, you're better off, and this is how I'm moving forward, so you do what you want to do, but I'm taking everything I can and putting it into other things that make sense, things that are going to be residual income, things that I can work with, buy a property, sell a property, either way. Even cars, I mean, I know they're depreciating assets essentially, but it's still a car that drives somewhere that, you have value for, that if you had to trade for something else, you could, right? So just ways to think, just something to think about. Because we say here on Operation Status Quo, Fed not now. No way, Jose, we're not doing it. We don't want it. We don't need it. Here they come. I think I said too much. No. I'll sign up for the digital currency. I'm sorry. I'll sign up, please. Please, you can own me. But that's really what it comes down to. It's all like, I mean, what a crazy world, right? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that's just, I'm going to end it here. I'm not going to go on a whole deep thing, but I mean, right? I mean, our whole world is built around, this level of suppression, just like always keeping you in a space, always telling you what to do, always some form to fill out or some paper to sign or some background check, or I don't know. It's just always up your ass with. And then when you want what's yours, what's rightfully yours, what you've worked for your whole life, you got to fight. You got to fight them for it, And then they have no qualms about taking it from you. Oh, like they don't even care that Americans are suffering. Like it's obvious. You see what's going on in this country, they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So now's the time. Empower yourself. That's what this channel is all about. It's about empowering yourself, being the best you can be, educating yourself. Don't trust in all this freaking, I don't know, I wanted to say magic, whatever crap, black magic they use on us, just let it go, follow your heart, and live your best life, because it's, that's the problem too with all this, with the money in our society. Everybody's afraid to make changes. Like I said in the beginning, afraid to make changes, because we're conditioned to, like, well, what happens if the world's different? And then, we're not going to the club, on Friday nights. Like, maybe we're not going to the club anymore. Maybe that's not part of our society. Maybe we don't need that level of consciousness, which is way down here, to be at the club, like, sipping and having sex in the bathroom. I'm just saying, like, so, I mean, we'll find better things to do, build communities, and I always talk about it all the time. I just want to see a nice big community. We all go out in the evening and, we work the fields together during the day and all that. And then the evening comes and everybody comes out and play music together, light a big fire and dance around and talk and, maybe drink a little too. I don't think we should take drinking out of it totally. Drinking and marijuana. I think we need to keep those two. Mostly marijuana, but drinking, it doesn't hurt every once in a while, a little buzz. Hey-o. So, all right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today with me on Operation Status Quo. I definitely appreciate it. And listen, we're getting close. I really want to hit that 500 subscribers mark. We're up to 487, so only 13 subscribers away. So if you are someone who watches regularly and have been watching, and you haven't subscribed, please, I just ask you to take the time to just click that little button, help me out, and let's help this community grow. And please like the videos, share the videos. If you are a subscriber, maybe share it to someone else and get them to subscribe. I got to work out some kind of commission plan for people who get subscribers for me, right? So yeah, so like, subscribe, share, send it out to your friends, your family, those you love, of course, those you despise as well. And working on things here in the studio. I guess you can see this week again, it's a new week, and I changed things around a little bit again with the studio. The microphone was bothering me because it was straight up and down. I felt like it was blocking my my whole face, and I peek around to see you, but so I kind of adjust. See how simple that was? Although the thing is with the Yeti, this is a Yeti, and I was informed that, the Yeti, you're supposed to talk into the front of it, which is actually here, which is what I was doing all the time. You're not supposed to talk into the top of it, but I think it sounds pretty good, and we'll find out. If you don't like it, let me know. If you do, let me know too. Drop some comments, all right, and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate you. I really, really do. God bless each and every one of you, individually as well as a group. I love you all because there's nothing but love in this world. It's all about love, and we got plenty of more is that plenty of more for you. Remember in Rocky, I got plenty more for you. I got plenty more for you. Clubber Lang was coming after him. All right, I do that once in a while with the movie things. I can't help myself. Thank you for being here. God bless you. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a great, great day. All my best, etc., etc., etc. Where am I going? Over here. Operation Status Quo disengaged.